Good morning, dear friends, and welcome to this Sunday morning meditation time at the Dhammadharani Monastery. Today we are offering the program both in person and over the Zoom. We're having this morning meditation time. Then at 1 o'clock this afternoon, a sutta study. And then if any of our in-person friends are inclined to stay with us in the afternoon, we will have time for in-person meditation in the afternoon following the sutta study, sitting and walking meditation. Our theme this week is about the Brahma Viharas, the divine abidings, which is a kind of boundless extension of goodwill for all beings in all the directions without any limitations whatsoever. You could imagine a very small person who only cares about themselves, or a slightly generous person who cares about their immediate family, or an average person who cares about their immediate circle of friends and family, or about the people in their own village or the people in their own community. Or one could imagine a great person almost the mythological figure of a great and noble king who has a vast kingdom and who personally cares for the welfare of all of the subjects in the kingdom. And then going beyond that, not in the selfish way that a king could think of conquering the whole world, but instead letting go of all selfishness, all narrowness, and having the same thought, exactly the same thought for the stranger as for the one we know who's a part of our community. Having exactly the same thought for a foreigner, or exactly the same thought for an adversary as for those who we know. Going so far beyond the number of individuals that one could care about, that the feeling or the emotion that comes up when we think of kindness towards an individual sort of cracks open and becomes boundless, becomes limitless. There's a short pamphlet that I read many, many years ago, decades ago, by a Buddhist writer named Gregory Kramer that has been inspiring me. He wrote about teaching his small children each night to just think up in their own words the ones in their own life that they could feel kindness for. Thinking, may my school friends be happy. May my teacher be happy. May the cat and dog be happy. May mommy and daddy be happy. And letting that practice evolve drop by drop by drop with a 10-minute meditation every night, night after night, week in and week out, thinking of whatever persons or beings one has encountered, and bringing that thought of kindness and goodwill towards those individuals. So isn't it natural and normal how the natural, beautiful, kind, and generous heart of a child can arise towards actual persons or actual beings? And that same heart can become wider and wider and larger until it becomes the boundless practice of loving kindness, which is available for all and available for each one, so that each person or each being who we might encounter is received with that spirit of kindness. And all those who are not the ones that we encounter specifically, but all of the beings anywhere that could be encountered without any boundary or any limit or any definition, nothing about their qualities, if they're good or bad, if they deserve it or not. All of them get exactly that same innocent, friendly wish that a small child would naturally wish. If a small child saw um, mommy or daddy um, expressing anger, they might kind of reach out and say, there, daddy, don't be angry. Uh, really wishing for daddy to come out of that anger. And so the same way, naturally, we want everyone to come out of anger. If a small child saw a mouse or a cat who was sick, uh, they would naturally have that heart of kindness and think, oh, there, you'll get better, there. And have that natural thought of kindness for the suffering of anybody who is suffering. And so the same way, this practice goes from the specific to the universal, from what is natural and normal for all of us to that which is truly the practice of an arahant, the practice of a noble, enlightened person. So my suggestion this morning is to think of doing a kind of a morning reduction of kindness that a person might choose to do every single morning to begin the morning with the thoughts of kindness. Welcome to come to an upright and balanced posture. First, taking care of our own self, looking within. If anything within us is mentally sick, mentally stressful, affected by fear or dislike, and relaxing around those places. Letting the body relax. Letting the face be soft. Letting the belly be soft. Aware of the contact with the earth, the floor, or the chair, or the cushion. Feeling the body supported by the earth element. Aware of the flow of the breath, the air element. Rising and falling continuously by itself. And if the breath is heavy or tight, letting the breath relax and become calmer. Reflecting. May I be free of anger, free of ill will, free of anxiety, This heart inclines to happiness. May I care for my own happiness today. And opening the heart for those persons or those beings that are close by. Everyone in this meditation room, touching them with a thought of kindness. May they be well, happy, free of anger, free of ill will, free of anxiety. May each person here take care of their own happiness. And including any non-human beings within this space. May all of them be free, happy, safe, peaceful. Reflecting mindfully on our own qualities the first act of kindness, to see a person as they really are. So to see our own self as we really are is a wonderful kindness. If we see any good quality in us, like kindness or patience or joy or clearness, clear awareness, and notice that quality with gladness and appreciation. But if we notice a difficult quality, like stress or fear, notice that clearly with compassion. And continuing with that thought of kindness inside and outside. If the thought or perception of any person or any being arises in the mind, let the thought of kindness go out to them, rejoicing in their good quality, compassionate for their difficulties. keeping the thought of kindness beyond any individual, just the thought of kindness, just the thought of compassion, just the thought of rejoicing in the goodness of the whole universe. The thought of kindness going everywhere, including all, as including oneself, free of anger, free of ill will, free of anxiety, seeing and nurturing the inner happiness. Gently emerging from this meditation. Can move the body to make it comfortable. At this time, I'd like to welcome, if there are any questions, or in particular, if any of you would like to give voice to your words of blessing and kindness for the persons in the room that come to mind in life. Okay. Would you please speak to the microphone?
I feel like I wanted to speak about blessings for my mom, who's been doing a lot of mental health work in the last 2 years. And I feel like she's been going through a lot, but getting a lot out of that too. Um, and I was also reflecting on the talk from Tuesday about loving kindness being protective. And I had thought about this person I met a few months ago who would get like street harassed, and her response would be very aggressive. She'd like get in people's faces and has had a lot of legal trouble because of this. And I thought about how I've also had a lot of street harassment, but I usually try to be like purposefully responding in a like ignoring the insult. I remember in Phoenix, I was distributing literature and someone was trying to like, I'm not sure, like provoke me, I guess. And I was just like, here, read this thing. Have a good day. And eventually he just got bored and left. And I was like, I've avoided this confrontation now. Um, yeah, so I felt like I really appreciated and connected with that.
Um, when encountering cruelty or anger on the part of others, it is very useful afterwards to reflect and try to process it and to try to completely wash away whatever negative reactivity we might have, a reactivity of aversion or fear or whatever, so that in the moment, the clear and open expression of kindness um, is sometimes possible. It's also sometimes can happen that right in the moment when confronted with anger or cruelty, that it can be skillful to sort of withdraw oneself, um, pulling away from the situation um, as a kind of a nonviolent response, but not participating in reacting, training the mind or training oneself not to react aggressively to aggression is a very difficult and challenging training. And it's somebody who's not made the effort to learn that skill. It would be quite normal for them to react aggressively to aggression or to respond in kind. That's completely normal. If it's possible to see in the other person any spot of goodness, that that person is trying to be safe, or uh, to then let the goodness in you connect with the goodness in that other person. Uh, my teacher, Bhante Gunaratana, used to go for a walk every day. And there was a particular woman who he very often saw because it was the same time of day she was always driving and he was walking on the road. And she always would slow down the car, and in a way that was kind of aggressive. She'd shout at me, she'd say, "Jesus loves you." And Bhante always responded by giving this big smile. I said, "Oh, thank you." And so if there were anything aggressive in her intention, we don't know. Maybe she was doing it completely from a pure good heart on her own face, that she just wanted to be nothing but kind. But so to whatever extent there was kindness in her word, then letting kindness answer to kindness uh, was good. So that's, but if you can't see or perceive anything kind or good or any goodness in that other person, then you should have your heart break open with compassion for them, like a person who's mortally ill, who's not, it doesn't have available medicine to help them, and try, immediately to let your own body and heart be ruled by compassion. Yeah, so you're trying to do the right thing, trying to respond in a way which is not confrontational, not to answer anger with anger. And you can compassionately wish that your friend will learn that same skill. I'm going to call on Chintana.
Good morning, Aya and everyone. I came back from the Hermitage. I've been there basically a month, and I forgot that there's a dog that barks here. And I used to holler at the dog, and I'd tell it, "Go inside," or I'd yell its name, and it would stop barking. And I don't have that feeling in me anymore, but it is still barking. And there's two things. I think people might go, "Oh, she's home. She'll yell at him to be quiet." But that being ignored, perhaps. There's also it is disturbing to hear something just continually bark, and it's a rescue animal, and it's half deaf, and so it's not real with it. And I don't know what to do. I don't really want to hear it bark. So I just thought I'd bring that one out.
Well, with a compassionate heart, one might recognize that that dog might be feeling anxious or disturbed in some way, and the reason they bark is because they're suffering. And then one could also realize that getting what you don't want is dukkha. That's one of the basic definitions of dukkha. So you don't want to hear the dog bark, and you are getting the dog barking, and you don't want it, and that is dukkha. And so then acknowledging that, so then you have something in common, that you're experiencing dukkha and the dog is experiencing dukkha. And maybe then some compassion will come for you.
Thank you, Aya.
Yes. I'll call on Damon.
Okay, so during your guidance, you also talked about how to react. I think you encouraged us to, in the face of our own distressing thoughts and emotions, like you mentioned, fear, for example. I feel more intimidated by the aggression from within than without. So if you could say more about that.
Yeah. Well, so what I tried to express was that the beginning for any kind of difficult or insoluble problem or terrible situation the beginning of a solution or the beginning of the healing of that situation is to be seen with compassion. Even like if that dog is barking and you can see, oh, what is with empathy, like what is that dog must be feeling? Could make them bark like that. And so the same way to look and see yourself, see those difficult states within. Now, don't be afraid of the difficult states that you find within you. It would be like if you're being attacked by a demon, the demon really actually is not able to hurt you, no matter how much it tries to frighten you. So then, if you see or experience the aversion or the anger or the whatever negative formation we have within, then if you pick it up and tangle with it and try to be too like if you take the bait, or if you believe that, let's say I feel angry at the dog, so I have to go and shut up the dog, then when you picked up that internal aversion, you strengthened it, and it becomes part of your character. So then it's like I don't know, like a sculpture or something. You take pieces of clay or pieces of gilding or something, and you keep covering yourself with, and soon you become like a statue of anger. So then, if whatever a negative or less skillful or unwholesome quality you have, even though that quality is there, if you don't pick it up, then it simply is part of the flow of things that are arising because of causes and conditions. This is going to come out over the next couple of weeks. It has to do with the ethics, the sila, and the type of practice, which is about character building. So when you practice to be virtuous and pure, eventually you develop the character of a virtuous and pure person. So then that would be someone who doesn't have those same tendencies, or ultimately with noble attainments, that those tendencies are cut off completely. But if you pick up and behave and speak and think based on those negative qualities, then that becomes very habitual, and eventually that becomes sort of like the character, and then your character becomes your destiny. And so then one could have the destiny to live a life dominated by fear or dominated by anger. So the trick is to see the anger, and without identifying with it. Just like there's a beautiful, innocent, pure little child inside of you that's saying, "Oh, Damon, don't be angry." Some innocent part that knows that that's not your character. The anger is not your character. They don't want that angry Damon. They would like to welcome and see and find and discover the peaceful and happy Damon. And so to see it, then there's like many hundreds of pages that could be written about the different skillful means that one can use to basically do the self-therapy to learn how to emerge and come out of negative states related to both insight and practicing for calmness and practicing for insight, practicing virtue, and so on like that. But at this level, this simple practice of compassion, I think the important thing is to see those, whatever disturbing quality comes up, to see it very well, to have something that doesn't pick up something in you that doesn't pick up that disturbance, but just sees it and says, ah, let this anger come to its conclusion. And don't identify. Just like you've got a child within you that wants you to be happy, wants you to be truly happy.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you.
Okay. I'll call on Patipada. This is kind of like I mean, in one way, Buddhism is a kind of therapy, but this is a kind of a group therapy where all of us are therapists who are helping one another. Go ahead.
Indeed,
Yes.
indeed. Thich Nhat Hanh has a self-soothing practice which he teaches because the anger can arise so instantaneously, and many of us are picked up with it like a raging river sometimes, and it sweeps us down the river with it. What Thich Nhat Hanh, one of the methods that Thich Nhat Hanh teaches to address this is to go with the river, be with that river, and embrace that angry child, the angry emotions that are arising, whether it's rage or hatred or any of the emotions which are being triggered from a place of deep hurt in the being. He says, embrace it and say, my darling, I am with you. My darling, I will take good care of you. My darling, I will not abandon you. And by simply speaking loving thoughts to the emotions immediately calm down, because it's almost like taking the positive energy and infusing that negative energy with positivity, and it does neutralize. So to be able to see it simply as trigger of memories, past memories, because anyone doing anything to anyone in the moment, they're not doing it to you. It's just emerging from them. Nobody ever does anything to anyone. It emerges. And then it's I've realized it's a very deep place in practice to get to, and it's hard to explain, but everyone is only acting from their own being. And so I can only respond from my being. And if I can see that person's energy for what it is, then I can be calm in it. And I can accept that this is who this being is, experiencing their own pain and rage. And they want me to see it, hoping that I would mirror it. But it's doing the opposite, being calm and simply sending love to that person and compassion, because we have the Dhamma, they don't. And so just to be able to see it for what it is a big difference in how the form experiences it.
Thank you so much. I know that we're over the time, but I'd like to hear from Amber, and then we'll be continuing this conversation for a long time, maybe for the rest of our lives.
Hello, everyone. I'll try to keep it really short. The last share is just reminding me of this silly but so useful little visual meditation. And what I was loving about the last share is like the embracing your feelings coming up, like really embracing them. So there's this like little meditation. It's like a visualization meditation about closing your eyes and picturing your mind, heart, whatever is your space is a house. And then each emotion that comes up is like a guest coming to your door. And you kind of visualize that guest as that emotion, angry, sad, but also the good emotions, the happy, the grateful. And you're just welcoming each guest into your house. And it's just such an acceptance of the good emotions and the bad, all the feelings really takes kind of the power out of them. And then the power out of attaching to all the good ones and grasping there. But yeah, it's just so beautiful. It just like was mentioned, the neutralizing, it neutralizes, the maybe the effects of those feelings. And they're your feelings and it's your house. It's just peace within. Anyways, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome. So when we, with great compassion, embrace and hold the negative qualities, with that thought, I won't destroy you, I won't condemn you, that sense of acceptance, that compassionate seeing, then just because of the natural course of the up and down of emotions and the flowing of time, those negative formations can break up and pass away. When we see the emotions that are wholesome and positive arising with us, they also are going to break up and pass away. They're also impermanent. But it's also true that there's a special need to welcome, to see clearly, and to cultivate those positive qualities, those positive emotions. The positive emotions can sometimes come in with a softer voice. So like if anger comes in like a tsunami, and then kindness comes in like a little blade of grass, which is just pushing out from the earth, and it's so tiny and small, you might not notice it. And so then the sort of the difference then is to notice and see those qualities very, very clearly, and let them grow and let them develop. So I hope that we can let our loving kindness reflections, kindness for ourselves and for all the individuals that we see in our world, all the individuals that we encounter in our world, and then all the individuals who are beyond our personal experience, that we can have this a regular reflection in a way which is very simple, spontaneous, and natural, just with the wish of kindness, the wish for true happiness. And by making that into a regular, consistent practice, then drop by drop, that responding from a place of kindness and compassion will become habitual and clear and natural, and will be a response that we can find, even if it should happen on some occasion because of the causes and conditions. Maybe a really powerful emotion is triggered inside of us that's sweeping us away, or maybe some really powerful external forces is coming down, which is very threatening and abusive, or seems to be very threatening and abusive to us. And so if we've been practicing bit by bit, day by day, then we have the resource to come out of danger and to allow those dangers to have their moment and pass on, and allow the state of kindness and compassion to be come stabilized and established. So that's all for now, and I will see you at 1 o'clock if you're coming back later on for meditation. I didn't have time at the beginning to acknowledge our monastic who are present. I'm acknowledging Venerable Dhamma Ruchika, who's present, and also Bhikkhu Ganesh and Bhikkhu, also present in this room. We are honored that from across the world you were coming to visit us here.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
The
Thank you,
Lord,
Aye.
the perfectly enlightened and blessed one, I render homage to the Buddha, the Blessed One. The teachings so completely explained by him, I bow to the Dhamma. The Blessed One's disciples who are practicing well, I bow to the Sangha.
Sadhu.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.